I'm Lenny Pickett. I was a saxophone player on the Serious Moonlight Tour. And while we were in New Zealand, we had the opportunity to participate in Maori Marae. It was wonderful and very interesting experience. We had a meal, and I sat next to a Maori princess who presented me with a bone flute made from, I think, a mutton bird bone. And we watched David perform the ceremony. It's 25 years ago, so my memories aren't precise, but I remember it being more than interesting. It was like, being transported into another reality.
My name is Hugh Lynn, and I was the Paul Dainty representative in New Zealand. I probably was the first promoter to bring an international act and get them invited on the Marae. I mean, I couldn't understand how they could come to our country and not be welcomed by the tangata whenua. And so this is what I did. And I remember when we put the suggestion to the management, they were a bit hesitant. They even became more hesitant when they got to the Marae. And I remember the management saying to me that David couldn't go in there because there were people everywhere. And she said to me, "Who's in charge?" I said, "That woman over there." And she just looked at me in horror. I said, "Oh no." I said, "If that woman tells everybody to sit down, they'll sit down." And so David was asked to go on to this sort of rostrum area. And everybody, just because of taha Maori culture, etc., behaved themselves. And it could have been different, but in that environment, because that's sacred, it's hundreds of years old, going on to the Marae, there's a way of behaving. And it's amazing how the women, the elders, or the aunties really, control everything. I can't remember all the people that were there with him, but I can remember him being on stage with his management. I can remember him singing a song, if I'm not wrong. I can remember this feeling of wanting to touch him from the front, and there were large numbers of people, especially children, and they're very difficult to control. But the auntie got up and spoke in Maori, and everybody just stopped. It was like there was this invisible barrier between the act, David, and the people, and they could have just reached out and touched him, really. It was that close.
I was 5 and part of the kapahaka group, and when David Bowie came on, we had to perform a few songs for him and that, and for some reason I think he kind of took a shine to me because I was only 5, and every time they did the actions I was doing it all the opposite way, so I kind of think I stood out a little bit. And then after the performance and that, I think he asked one of my older aunties, my Auntie Charlotte, because she came over and said to me, go over and give him a kiss, and then I didn't want to because I didn't know him and stuff, but so I think I ended up having to go over and give him a little kiss on the cheek and whatever, or let him kiss me so much. But yeah, that's pretty much all I remember. But yeah, to be honest with you, I didn't know who he was, and it wasn't until I saw the movie Labyrinth that I realised who he was, and by that time I was a few years older, and then I was like, oh, missed my chance.
At the end of a pōwhiri process, we have what we call the hariru, which is where the greeting takes place, where all the visitors come and press noses or hongi with the tangata whenua. And as they came round, each person to press noses, what I remembered was that David Bowie had a really pointy, sharp nose.
Oh, I would never ever hongi David Bowie. I would have pashed him. And he would have enjoyed it.
If you don't hongi with your nose, you can kiss on the side of the cheek or wherever, on the lips. And I kissed him and gave him a little bit of a squeeze.
Before he left, we did a little presentation and gave him, on behalf of the iwi, a taonga. It was a bone carving, and it was done with whalebone, and it was carved by Tana Solzman, a local carver. Yeah, and that was given to him, And I've seen a picture of him in the paper during his tour of New Zealand, and he was wearing it, and it looked fabulous. I hope he still has it.